What's up, y'all? I'm out here at the range, as you can see back behind me. Been out here all day doing some really interesting testing, and I believe I got time for one more before I head out of here. So I'm going to end it out with what hopefully will be an interesting 45 ACP test. So our jelly contraption's still out here hard at work with the chrono and 2 blocks of gel. Now, like I said, I've done a few tests in this. I'll leave some links up above if y'all hadn't seen them. But this block that we're working with here has got pretty much more than half of it clear in the front, so shouldn't have any problem putting these rounds in there and seeing what's going on with them. Now again, as you can see, we're using the heavy clothing barrier with the layer of denim, the layer of fleece, and then 2 layers of the cotton t-shirt material. So what we're checking out here today is some more unconventional 45 ACP. It's this Inceptor ARX stuff. These are like the copper polymer blend. It's like a ground up kind of thing that makes up the projectile. It's basically like the Underwood Extreme and Penetrator type rounds. They got the fluted solid projectile there. Now this is definitely some light stuff. This is 118 grains. They're saying 1,350 feet per second at the muzzle, which would give you 477 foot-pounds of energy. So if we see that 1,350, that's some pretty good stuff there. If y'all remember, I actually did test the Underwood version of this, their solid copper Extreme Defenders in 45 ACP not long ago. I want to say those were around 135 grains. Those did a fantastic job, and I feel like these will too. Now, I think the main comment most people have when I test this type of ammo is they would like to have seen an FMJ beside it to see the difference. So that's what we're going to do today. We're going to put these Blazer FMJs beside it. Just some good old 230 grain FMJ round nose, just good old 45 ACP ball ammo. Now I'm just using a single barrel length this time. It's my 4 1/4 inch barrel Taurus Commander 1911. But I'm definitely curious to see how these things do. Hopefully they do just as good as those Underwoods did. As far as the FMJ, I can just about tell you it's going to do one of 2 things. It's going to either go in a straight line all the way through, or it's going to tumble and end up in the second block somewhere. But let me get this stuff set up and let's check them out. All right, let's check out some speed, y'all. I'm gonna do a 5-round average from each round. We're gonna start with these ARX first and see what they moving. These should be some speedy boys for sure. Got 1212, 1182, 1184, 1214, and 1206. So they are moving on. Let's go check that average. All right, so our 5-round average on those was 1,199, and that's a far cry from the 1,350 that they've got on the box. Now granted, this isn't full size, but even still 150 feet per second off from what's on the box, that's a pretty big difference. But anyway, let's reset it and get some speeds on them FMJs. All right, let's see what these good old ball rounds are moving, y'all. We'll get a 5-round average on these also. Got 711, 724, 744, 719, and 750. So definitely a whole lot slower. Let's check that average. All right, so our 5-round average on the FMJ is 729 feet per second. And if y'all remember those ARX, it was 1199. So you talking about 470 feet per second faster from that ARX. So a huge, huge speed difference, but it's a lot lighter projectile. So that stands to reason. I think the ARX is going to do really good in the gel. Like I said, the FMJ is probably either going to tumble or stop somewhere in the second block or go through both blocks. But let me get this stuff reset, and y'all know what time it is. All right, y'all, it's they all fall to the 45 ball jelly time. I'm gonna put 1 round of each into the gel, starting with these ARX first. Like I said, I think these are gonna do pretty good if they do anything like the Underwoods did. Well, let's check them out. All right, that should have been a good hit. Let me go down there and see what I got. All right, that ARX is looking good down there, y'all. So let's try this FMJ. But I don't have the greatest expectations for this thing at all. Like I say, I expect this thing to either tumble, maybe go out one of the sides, or just stay straight and go all the way through. But let's see what we get here. I'm gonna try to go above this other one, but if I miss, this is the last test, so I can send some more if I have to. All right. I think I went right beside that other one. Let me go down there and see what I got. All right, y'all, I put that thing so close to that ARX, it's almost in the same hole. They are separate holes, and I think that test is plenty to see what we need to see, but I'm gonna send one more of these just to be positive. I don't know where I'm gonna end up with this thing. For some reason, I'm having a hard time this afternoon. All right, I think that's exactly where I wanted to put it the first time. Let me go check it out. All right, let's check out what we got down here, y'all. Pretty much exactly what I expected to see. So first we'll look at this ARX right there on the bottom. All that wound channel right there, that's that ARX. So it comes in, really nice disruption, pretty much what you always see with these fluted projectiles. Carries on through the first block. Now somewhere along the line it tumbled, maybe in here, maybe in here. Really, it's almost impossible to say, but it's sitting down here backwards, probably an inch or so away from the edge of that first block. And then both of these FMJs look nearly identical. The very first one is that thin line right here above the ARX. It's kind of hidden behind the ARX wound channel, but it came in right beside it. So nothing but a thin line all the way through here. A little bit of disruption going on there for whatever reason. Passes into the second block, keeps on trucking through the second block, and is sitting right here in the back there. I'll pick y'all up and give y'all some closer looks, but obviously no expansion, no deformation, and it's sitting forward. So it may not have tumbled at all through here. And then the second one's the one up top here. Same story, nothing but one little straight pencil line, carries through that first block into the second block here. And this one stopped right here. And it looks like the forward momentum on both of those FMJs are nearly identical. So let's check out the penetration on them. Our ARX here, the forward momentum on that was just barely over 15 inches. So some perfect penetration on that one. And then these FMJs just did not want to stop, buddy. This one here went to 25 inches, and then this one here is at exactly 25 3/4, so nearly identical penetration on these, and most people would say that's definitely too much penetration. Here's a little bit of a closer look at that ARX wound channel disruption. You can see that little line that's behind it from the FMJ, but like I said, really nice disruption here, carries on through right there. You see it sitting backwards, so it tumbled somewhere along in here, may have been in here after this disruption where the fluted area made, but like I say, it's nearly impossible to say. And here's your look overhead. This one here was the second FMJ, and then you can see the other FMJ track beside that ARX track. So you can see it there. The right there is some kind of disruption for whatever. Here's got some disruption from the FMJ, carries into the second block. There you see one of them, and then down below there you see the other one. All right, y'all, a quick look at these projectiles here. So obviously the ARX here and both the ball rounds here, nothing really exciting to see here because, you know, no deformation, no expansion, no nothing. All three of these look completely intact, barely even a scratch on them. Now, the jacket on these are kind of gouged and scratched a little, but this ARX, that's pretty impressive how hard that these things are. There's no scratches or anything. Like, I can't even catch my nail on any kind of ridge, any kind of gouge, nothing. Any little blemish that you're seeing is nothing but just cosmetic. It's just the looks of it. There's no damage whatsoever to this thing. And that's something that I've mentioned in the comments. These ARXs are not meant to be a frangible or a fragmenting round. A lot of people seem to have that idea, and that's not the case at all. Even on their website, they talk about just how tough that these projectiles are. So this is not a fragmenting or frangible round at all. Now, I can test these through something hard, maybe some boards or something like that, but I can just about be willing to bet you that these things are not going to fragment. But since we got these projectiles out here, let's get some weights on them and some measurements right quick. Now this ARX is 118 is what it started at, and it's exactly 118.0, so exactly the weight right there on that one. And then the FMJs were 230. This one here is 229.8, and then this one here is 230.1. So all three of these projectiles right where they should be as far as weight. Now a couple of really quick measurements here on the FMJ. The diameter, you got 452. This one here, you got 452. As far as the length on them, you're looking at 646 and 647. And then for your ARX on the diameter, you got 450. And then for the length on this one, you've got 670. So there you have it, y'all, the fancy ARX round against the good old FMJ here. Definitely a difference between these. There's no doubt about it. There's no denying that there's a difference in the performance here. The ARX or any fluted round like this, you're pretty much guaranteed the consistency. You know what you're going to get pretty much each and every time, whereas the FMJ, that's my big problem with FMJ. FMJ is totally inconsistent. Sometimes you get what we saw here, which is just basically straight line performance. It stops in the gel, although way too far. Other times you get complete pass through. Other times you get a lot of tumbling, which makes a lot more disruption, which I would want to see if I were running FMJ. But the problem there is you can't guarantee that. You just cannot guarantee the performance of FMJ. So for me, there's really no question. If I had a choice between this and an FMJ, for me, it would be this kind of round all day long. All right, y'all, I'm calling it right there for another interesting 45 ACP test, and that's going to wrap it up for today. I think just about every test I did out here today gave me exactly the results that I was expecting, and this one right here was no different. Those ARXs, I've tested that type of round in the past, so I know what to expect from that, and you get that same performance almost every single time. Matter of fact, I would go ahead and say every single time. I can't remember ever testing one of these fluted type of rounds that did not perform just exactly the same each time. And then on the flip side is the FMJ. Now there's no doubt that FMJ would get the job done. It's been getting the job done for years and years and years and will continue to do so, but you just cannot deny the difference in performance here. That FMJ is completely inconsistent. That's my biggest problem with it. Like I say, a lot of people would scoff at that over penetration, and yes, it is over penetration, but I personally am not concerned about over penetration. A lot of people are, I know. My biggest concern, like I've already said, is the inconsistency. You just do not know what you're going to get out of these FMJs from round to round. I know a lot of y'all out there do carry FMJs, and like I said, it would get the job done, but let me know down below in the comments what your thoughts are on the FMJ versus a fluted specialty round like this. If you did enjoy the video, take a second and hit that thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe to the channel and turn on your notifications so you don't miss anything good when I upload it. Take a second and check out those affiliate links in the video description. Anything you buy from any of those places that I've got links down there to, it does help out the channel, so I really do appreciate that. Like I always tell you, I appreciate all my range gang members and every single one of y'all out there for supporting the channel. The sun's going down out here, and when that starts happening, this temperature drops quick, so I'm gonna pack my stuff up and head out of here. I got a ton of good stuff headed y'all's way, so be on the lookout, and in the meantime, stay safe, stay prepared, and I'll see you soon.